Now let's talk about the cell-mediated arm of the adaptive immune response. Protection against many important pathogens is mediated by T lymphocytes, along with phagocytic cells and B cells play no part. This type of immunity is often loosely termed cell-mediated immunity, CMI, because historically, it was not possible to transfer this immunity from one person to another simply by transferring plasma-containing antibodies. Let's get into some more details. Cell-mediated immunity, CMI, is an immune response that does not involve antibodies, but rather involves activating antigen-specific cytotoxic T lymphocytes, CTLs, that can destroy body cells displaying epitopes of foreign antigen on their surfaces, such as virus-infected cells, cells with intracellular bacteria, and cancer cells displaying tumor antigens. Activating macrophages and NK cells, enabling them to destroy intracellular pathogens, and stimulating cells to secrete a variety of cytokines that influence the function of other cells involved in adaptive immune responses and innate immune responses. Cell-mediated immunity is directed primarily by microbes that survive in phagocytes and microbes that infect non-phagocytic cells. It is most effective in destroying virus-infected cells, intracellular bacteria, and cancers. It also plays a major role in delayed transplant rejection. But how is this adaptive response activated? For the adaptive immune response to execute its function, two types of events must take place. These are the activation of T cells, that is, naive T cell become effector T cells, and antigen presentation brought about by phagocytic cells. The two processes are interconnected, as you will see once we go through them both. Let's talk about these two mechanisms in detail. First, let's discuss about how antigens presentation takes place. The adaptive response is activated when phagocytic cell, such as macrophages, engulfs a pathogen. That is, phagocytosis of an invading pathogen takes place. After the macrophages have engulfed the pathogen, it converts into an antigen-presenting cell. The newly formed antigen-presenting macrophages are then recognized by a helper T cell. After a helper T cell binds with the antigen, it releases cytokines to draw in more immune cells to the site of infection. Now let's talk about T cell activation. A little background on the origin of T cells. T cells, they originate from the bone marrow, as shown here, and are produced by a process known as lymphopoiesis. Cells known as hematopoietic stem cells mature into common lymphoid progenitor cells, which then becomes either a B cell or T cell. To become a T cell, it migrates to the thymus and becomes a thymocyte, which then differentiates into a mature T cell, or the naive T cell as mentioned before. As for the activation of T cells, the process of T cell activation requires recognizing of antigen that is associated with molecules on the surface of cells called major histocompatibility complex, MHC molecules. The naive T cell undergoes a process called priming to change into effector T cells once it encounters an antigen in the lymph node. Priming is based on two types of signals: antigen binding and co-stimulation. The antigen is normally presented on the MHC molecule of an antigen-presenting cell, such as a macrophage or a dendritic cell. The second signal is that of co-stimulation. It begins when a ligand called CD28 on the surface of a T cell binds to a ligand called B7 on the surface of the antigen-presenting cell. This region is known, which contains TCR, MHC, CD4, CD28, and B7 is known as immune synapse. Once an immune synapse is formed, the naive T cell changes into an activated T helper cell or cytotoxic T cell. These two types of cells have their own characteristics. Helper T cells. Helper T cells are also known as CD4 cells, as the binging is possible through the protein known as CD4. They are key players that are important in the adaptive immunity mechanism. For example, in case of the HIV infection, KID4 cells are infected, thus leading to a decrease in the number of KID4 cells in circulation, which leads to a reduced immune response to future infections. Two major groups of helper T cells are known as Th1 and Th2 cells. Both of them are produce different kinds of cytokines. Th1 cells predominantly produce interferon gamma, which promotes cell-mediated immune mechanisms, while Th2 cells produce mostly interleukin-4, IL-4, which promotes humoral immunity by activating B cells. This explains how the cell-mediated arm of the adaptive immune response connects with the humoral adaptive immune response. Overall, the helper cells are responsible for three mechanisms. They enhance the activity of all immune cells, and two, they stimulate the cytotoxic T cells. And third, they stimulate the B cells. Now let's talk about the cytotoxic T cells. Let's talk about cytotoxic cells. They are T cells but different than helper cells. The docking protein on the surface is known as KID8. After it is stimulated and activated, it divides into multiple cells that form an army of memory-specific cells. They all recognize the same antigen. The cytotoxic cells can directly destroy the pathogen that has the recognizable antigen. They can indirectly destroy virally infected cells by eliciting apoptosis. Since these cells are memory-specific, they help to fight off future infection. We can say that due to the formation of memory cells, person develops immunity against infections. This ends the cell-mediated arm of the adaptive immune response. After watching the full video, you can understand that all the different mechanisms and components of immune system work together to develop immunity against pathogens. For a more in-depth look into these immune mechanisms, you can check out our videos on all these topics in our immunology section here at sqadia.com.
Explore our extensive library of over 1,800 video lectures to learn about a wide range of topics. Only on sqadia.com.